Writing the perfect sustainability report can be really complicated because it involves an extensive number of pages that has to follow a prescribed format such as the GRI, the SASP, or the CDP disclosure frameworks. So while it's easy to get lost in complicated disclosures and dry data point and the legal side of writing reports, it's important to remember that a great sustainability report can really function as a comms piece that are communicating your efforts to a variety of stakeholders that are surrounding the organization. So I personally have a handful of reports that I love to look to and draw inspiration from when it comes to creating sustainability reports for clients. And the Nike report, which we'll be looking at today, is in particular on the front line here because they are a fantastic communication piece. Now, a full disclaimer here, this video is not an endorsement of Nike to say that they are doing everything perfectly, but it is saying that when it comes to writing a report that does a fantastic job at communicating, it is worth taking a look at their efforts and learning so that we can do better in our own organizations. Let's get going and take a look at the Nike sustainability report. I have linked the report itself in the comments in case you want to download it and keep reverting to it for future. Landing on the front page of the report, they're already starting out by taking the reader on a Nike journey. It is called Breaking Barriers, which is a great hint to kind of showcasing how they are focused on progress and delivering change and creating something new. Then we're having a table of content, so introduction. Then we're having a overview of the targets. It's always so nice to have a target summary. Also, really quickly, it's worth noticing that the entire content index is hyperlinked. It's such a detail, but it just makes it super easy to navigate through 170 pages. Then they are setting the scene with purpose guiders. I think any organization gotta just have that, tell a bit about what it is that they do, what they're celebrating, what they're standing for, and how are this important for their brand. Then we have something I really like. We'll always have a pre-statement or a letter of intent from the CEO in the front of a good sustainability report. But by saying letter from John, they are creating a deeper connection. It's almost as if it is a friend or someone we know. Just a little light teaser saying that they've had 50 years of progress, but 20 years of reporting. Super simple, but on brand. This is a fantastic page because it's essentially just mapping out their efforts on a timeline, making it super easy for the reader to understand when did they start doing reporting. Now we are jumping into the meaty parts, the 2025 target. They're obviously committed to progress, and then here we go. Now it's getting good. So you can see that they've sectioned it into people, and then they have their foundational expectations. Something to notice is their choice of language, performance summary, right? We're talking about sports, performance, being an athlete. It's a great way of using language to underpin everything we do. In many other organizations, we would call it something else, but performance summary works because Nike is about performance. We invest in people to move forward. Again, a great way of using language and embedding it into the core of their brand and what they do. I love when you have quantifiable data and you are elegantly drawing out the points so that I don't have to read the nitty-gritty, but I can really quickly visualize how it is that you're performing against some of your own targets. One thing that we see here on page 19, which is a great benefit for a brand like Nike, is that they can form partnerships with some high-profile names. And you can see here how they are highlighting Serena Williams as an example of how they're trying to unlock the power of women in investing. I've skipped ahead to page 31, where they are giving a spotlight to something they are very proud of. For this particular case study, it's about working with 40,000 workers across 6 countries, where they are initiated a gender equity program that are called Her Program. And the goal is to enable a better work-life balance. Just quickly stopping here on page 50, they're talking about supplier compensation, highlighting something that are a key problem and recognizing that as a part of your industry is a great way of featuring what it is that you're actually trying to do to combat these issues. Moving on to page 66, they have a spotlight of employment of foreign migrant workers. We're having a lot of movement in the world for various reasons related to climate change, related to war, and we can only see that this will increase in the future by being a corporation that are looking ahead and saying, okay, how can we play a positive role in this? They really hammered home an important point. One thing Nike is really good at is to visualize a plan. We are looking at what they're going to do when it comes to carbon emissions between 2015 and up till 2050 and how they're going to cut it. What I also like that they've done is this red stipulated line. They're showing like where they could go, but actually where they are going. Page 88, if you just really quick glance over that, they've essentially sectioned where their emissions are set and what they're trying to achieve, because not everything has an even pressure in terms of emissions detected. We're here on page 98 and we can see the top materials that they're using in their production. Then they're acknowledging they're having a ton of waste as an organization. What are they doing about it? Page 138, they're moving into issue prioritization. Now, if we're familiar with the United Nations SDGs, or the goals that we could all progress on, we'll know that that's a huge undertaking and we can't do everything, or we can at least not do everything in one go. So how are we prioritizing what we should be focusing on? We're moving on to page 142. It's coming to an end in terms of what are we doing. So any reporting organization that are going sustainable will have to implement good governance structures. Then we have the appendix. We made it to the end. It is the content index summarizing more points in terms of progress, in terms of what they're focused on, some of their targets, some of their key insights. They're highlighting that they had PVC to assure their report. So checking their data, making sure that they're not lying. And then last but not least, you have to have your global reporting initiative GRI index. So if you are, and you should be compliant with GRI, then you have to showcase what it is that you've been reporting on. So why is this hyper relevant? Why did we choose exactly these things in our report? And where can the reader find more about it? That is it for today's video. If you found this helpful, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're ready to dive deeper into what is GRI and how can you start reporting based on globally recognized sustainability disclosures, you should totally check out this video where I'm talking about how you can get started in 3 simple steps. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.